Hey guys, so I'm here today with this like everyday back to school kind of tutorial, I guess. I just kind of go through how I would typically do my makeup if I had to get up to either go to work or go to school, and just kind of minimalize the products and stuff. I try to use as many drugstore products as I could, and if I didn't, I'm going to go ahead and link the other products that I would recommend that are drugstore down below. Like my primer, I don't have the drugstore primer that I like, so I didn't use it in the video, but I will recommend it in the description box. So go ahead and check that out. All of the info is in there. Also all my social media. I also used a Lip Sense lipstick, 2 of them actually, and I used the matte gloss. So I hope you guys like the video, and if you want to see how I got this look, just keep on watching. I hate like my hair in my face, and I know I usually start with my eyes, but I like to focus on the face when I'm doing something more like every day. It just depends on your preference and what you kind of like to wear on a daily basis. I simply just like to put a shade in my crease. The only thing that you want to make sure when you do your eyeshadow is to put a base on your lid and then set it really well. Here, I'm from Arizona, so here it gets really hot, so I know when school starts it's really hot, and walking from class to class you can get kind of sweaty. So if you have sweatier lids or anything like that, you want to make sure you set down your lid primer before you put on your eyeshadow, so that way it's not like creasing up throughout the day. And that's why I don't suggest any crazy, you know, dark, smoky, like kind of eyeshadow during the summer months especially. I mean, you can do whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with wearing to school, but just for the purpose of like sweating and, you know, being in the heat, you don't want to, you know, crease up. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start with the face. So I already moisturized, and I'm going to go ahead and prime. I'm just using a moisturizing primer and a smoothing primer for my skin because I have dry skin, so that's what works for me. And I know I already put a moisturizer on, but this really helps kind of adhere the foundation like to my skin, because once you kind of rub it into your skin, it gives you like a tacky feeling. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with smoothing primer. This is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Smoothing Primer. They have like 8 million of these for different skin types and purposes. Okay, and I know I usually like to use luminous foundations. If not, I do use matte foundations, but still I don't like to use anything too matte unless, you know, like I'm going to be gone all day. So if you don't want to use like a super matte foundation because you don't want to look cakey, you don't want it to like break up in the heat, I would highly suggest mixing a matte foundation and a more dewy foundation. I love the combination of these two. So if I know, like, if I don't want like a super matte like face, but also I know that if I wear, even though I have dry skin and I wear the Pro Longwear and I'm going to be out and, you know, kind of hot and sweaty from time to time, I cannot just wear this by itself. It's way too glowy, so it will break up a lot faster. So I do like to mix these two. It gives a really nice like satin finish. And these are the L'Oreal Infallible. So this is the Pro Glow and this is the Pro Matte. Make sure to shake up the Pro Glow really well. And when I mean by mixing, I don't mean like mixing them on a little palette. I like to just focus the Pro Glow, the glowy one, on like the outer parts of my face. I just kind of squeeze it into my fingertip on like the outer parts of my face, and then the Pro Matte like in the areas where I tend to get more sweaty and my makeup tends to break up, which is more my T-zone in the center right here. So another thing you can do, if you already have a matte foundation and you want to kind of, you know, tone it down a little bit so it's not so drying, you can mix a little bit of your moisturizer into it to, you know, thin it out, and you can use it that way as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with some concealer. This is Tarte Shape Tape in Light Neutral. I'm trying to get the foundation all into my areas where I have the most darkness, just so that I don't have to use that much concealer, since I did use a like full coverage kind of foundation, so I try not to use that much product after this. And then I just drag up the concealer to my lids, and then I'm going to go ahead and set everywhere I put concealer first, and then all the excess I'm going to just kind of drag it out into like the outer parts of my face. So this is also preference. It's kind of, if you have an area that breaks up throughout the day, whether it's like between your eyebrows, whether it's like the sides of your nose, your top lip, bake those areas longer. You don't have to bake everywhere that I bake, that another person bakes on YouTube. That's not like the right way of baking. The right way to bake is depends on the person and where you get the most oily or even sweaty. And then whatever's left over in my cap, I just kind of dust it on the rest of my face. Oh shoot, I forgot to set my lids. I'm over here preaching and I didn't even set my lids. And even if your eyelids do get really oily, you can bake them too. Obviously be careful, don't get it all in your eye. So like I was saying, I like to use these two like peachy colors and mix them together from the Kylie Roller Peach palette. So I just, this is a Morphe M441, and I just put that in the crease and then drag the excess downwards onto my lid. Look straight and see where your crease is, and then lift your brows and get in there and then lift them back down. And that way you can, once you kind of lift back, if you have like kind of hooded lids like I do, it'll be perfect because you can go like this, and then when you go down, it'll help you get it on the top of your crease and on the bottom, like kind of where your lid is. Now I'm going to dust off all this powder. You could leave it on longer if you need to. You can do your brows. Again, personal preference. Now I'm going to take my butter bronzer in this Morphe M527. And at this point, if you want some wing liner, go ahead and add some wing liner. I am not going to do any lashes today, so when I don't do lashes, I typically don't do eyeliner. My lashes are really not that great, you know, nothing special. So when I do liner and then I try to just go without lashes, my liner kind of makes my lashes disappear. So I don't like to put liner on when I'm not wearing falsies. So if you absolutely want some sort of darkness on your lash line, what I like to do is go in with a dark shadow to just kind of smudge the kind of 3/4 area out here and create maybe like a tiny little flick. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to use the ILuvSarahii Coulourpop Chic-y palette. I'm going to go ahead and use Noche on my lash line just a little bit to just smudge it out. Give it, oh, this doesn't have a mirror. So I'm going to start on the outer corner and then just make it smaller and smaller, and like stay as close to your lashes as you can because you can get a little crazy, you know. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and coat my lashes. I'm going to use the Lash Paradise by Loreal. I'm going to do my brows, so I'm going to use the Anastasia Brow Wiz in medium brown, and I am going to just fill in the areas that I need filled in. I'm just going to focus on the sparse areas only and then kind of see where I do need to shape it. I start in the center and just kind of make sure it's uniform all the way down to the front. I keep my hand all the way at the bottom to give the lightest application. And then so like there, that's pretty good, that's done. And then now I'm gonna like skip this area because this area is pretty. Wait, let me zoom you guys in. I just did the very front. I just kind of darkened it so it looks a little straighter. Hair's totally good and fine, and now I'm gonna start kind of creating hairs here to connect with my tail. Like that. And now the highest point of my brow is like right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that be my guide. To do the same kind of thing I did here, just straighten it out. Like that, and just kind of fill in as I go. And I'm kind of just following where my arch is. And then connecting it down towards my tail. So there's like the general shape of my brow. So now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill in my arch a little bit more to match the darkness of the rest of my brow. And in the front, I try to be super duper light-handed. Just want it to look uniform. And even if you do kind of go a little heavy-handed in areas, you can just spoolie it out like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some blush and some highlight. I also like to use the same highlight I'm gonna use on my face, my inner tear duct, and a tiny bit right under the arch of my brow. I'm using Ofra's Rodeo Drive highlight, and this is just kind of to save time, to not really have to dig through all of your things. And then I'm going to be going in with the M501 to highlight. It's like a giant blending brush. I do like to do highlight sometimes before I do blush, just so that it can kind of blend into the blush a little bit easier and it doesn't kind of sit on top like it can tend to do. Let's pause and let me contour really quick. This is the Chocolate Soleil bronzer in Milk Chocolate, and this Sigma blending brush. I'm just going to go ahead and contour a tiny bit. I'm not going to get the Kylie palette back out. I'm just going to use Freckles in the ILuvSarahii Coulourpop palette just to add a little tiny bit of shadow under here and a little mascara. Let me finish highlighting. Chin. And I'm just obsessed with MAC blushes. I've had like the same 5 MAC blushes and I couldn't be happier with the blushes that I have. So this is MAC's Gingerly. Like, blush is just a must for me. I feel like it just pulls your face together. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. Also, my sister asked me the other day, she's like, how can I make my highlight stay all day? She's like, I feel like in the morning, like, it's good, and then by the time I get out of school, like, you don't even see it anymore. And I was like, make a little sandwich. Like, add your highlight, put your facial spray, and then add your highlight again on top, and that'll lock it in. Highlight's important to you. Try that. Okay, so now for the fun part. We're gonna do a little lip sense today. So I got 4 new colors in today, like before I filmed this, they got delivered. So I'm excited to try one of them out. I know Pink Champagne is bomb. I had this and then I gave it to someone, and yeah, so I know I love this one, but I feel like it might be a little too boring, like for the video. So let me see. So I have Caramel Latte, First Love, and Roseberry. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know. Let's try Roseberry for funsies, you know? For funsies. So I'm going to zoom you guys in again. Okay, so I'm going to explain it before I do it because then I'm not going to be able to talk when I have it on. So I already cleaned off my lips. I am shaking this like a mother, and then I'm going to do one layer, let it dry, another layer, let it dry, and then the third layer and let it dry, then add my gloss. So each layer has to be put on in the same direction, kind of like, you know, one side to the other side, and then we'll add the gloss. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I decided to take that one off just because I feel like it didn't go with my eyeshadow, so I'm going to go ahead and use Caramel Latte. Okay, take two. I might mix Caramel Latte and First Love. We'll see. I just want to use all of them. That's just the problem right now. Okay, so I'm all done. I just straightened my hair. I did cut my hair last week, so it's shorter. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm still going to go back and get a different kind of cut to it. I just cut off like all the dead blonde that I had. So I'm all done. I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.